Oh, a microphony.
And a phony at the mic.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
The Doctor of Discernment is now online.
You know, much like my show, in that it's a local reaction to things that are happening on a federal level.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Wow, do I have a boatload of stuff for you, from the crazy to the absurd. Let's start getting into it because, I mean, it is bizarro world out there. And I say, if it's obvious to me, it should be obvious to everyone. Oh, wow. Who could have seen this coming?
This is the Fourth Hour with Greg Belfrage.
Hold on to your butts.
Broadcasting from my basement bunker beneath Keller Radio. Welcome to the Fourth Hour. Always great to be with you. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Okay, House Speaker Mike Johnson is talking about the federal government shutdown, and let's join this. Actually, I think they are not quite finished yet, but I've scrolled back here so that we can pick up some of this as they're talking about the federal government shutdown. This is House Speaker Mike Johnson. Now, if the video's too low, too high, let me know. Here we go.
There's one inescapable fact. It's a glaring fact that everybody in America can see. Chuck Schumer is hurting real Americans for his own political survival. I'm going to say that again. Chuck Schumer is hurting real Americans for his own political survival. If you're a service member who's not getting a paycheck, it's because Chuck Schumer has to appease the Marxist. Cut and simple. It's plain and simple.
He was reading comments from somebody on the far left saying that Chuck Schumer is to
do the right thing.
Finally, got some stones.
The first time in the history of the United States Congress that a party has shut down the government over a clean CR. We frankly didn't expect this.
Okay, I'm going to turn the volume up here.
4-page document to keep the lights on, keep Congress working, keep the paychecks flowing.
How's that better?
Because they're afraid of the far left. I'm just going to walk through a quick sample of the devastating impacts that Americans are feeling as we speak right here, because this is real. And you'll note a theme here. A lot of these are blue states where their Senate Democrats are over here keeping the government closed. In California, home of the nation's largest civilian workforce, more than 250,000 federal workers are now working without pay. Both the Democrat senators, Padilla and Schiff, have now voted 7 times to block those paychecks. In Virginia, there are 189,000 federal employees, nearly 5%.
See, this is information I think needs to be out
waiting
there.
On their next full paycheck. And both of their senators, Warner and Kane, refused to pass a clean bipartisan CR that Democrats supported 13 times under Joe Biden in the previous 4 years. In Maryland is a hub of trade and commerce. You have 150,000 federal workers.
Is this going to make any difference?
Both of their senators, also Brooks and Van Hollen, have voted 7 times to keep the government closed. In Georgia, home to our nation's busiest airport, there's close to 110,000 federal workers, including thousands of TSA agents and air traffic controllers, now being forced to work without pay. You guessed it. Senators Ossoff and Warnock voted to block those paychecks too. Arizona, 58,000 workers serve the federal government, including many Border Patrol agents who are working hard to keep us safe. That hasn't stopped Arizona Senators Kelly and Gallego from blocking funding 7 times for the paychecks for their own constituents. In fact, they have so much idle time, they're having publicity stunts, posing publicity stunts outside my office. In New York, let's talk about New York because this is interesting.
Yeah, outside his office. I love that.
Leaders, both in the Senate and the House.
Booyah.
115,000 federal workers are waiting on Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer and Kristen Gillibrand to come to their senses and end this shutdown. Chuck Schumer said himself, with every day of the shutdown gets better for us. And what does that look like? We're talking about
that's crazy.
2 million civilian workers, 1.3 million active duty service members, everybody being hurt because of it. Chuck is what they're doing right now. I've been asked many times in interviews over the last couple of days, you seem angry. You don't get angry a lot. I don't, but this is beyond the pale. What Chuck Schumer's doing right now, it's sickening. It's sickening to hear him say it's better for him and his party when it's so terrible for real Americans.
Isn't that wild? How do you feel about that? Feel free to share your comments.
And
Got an eye on your comments here.
Chuck Schumer would know better. but it seems apparent now that he spent too long in Washington to understand the real pain of real people. We're going to share a few more things with you about this morning.
And there are a
talk
number
about
of
some
them
the
who
real-world
speak, so we
impacts
maybe
of
will speed
federal
through
law
some of this.
We've asked our House Committee Chairman, the Chairman of our House Administration Committee, Brian Stile, to come and talk a little bit more about that. So, Chairman Stile, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for your leadership. Chuck Schumer yesterday said every day gets better for the Democrats. That's certainly not true for the men and women in blue. Today is the first day that
I couldn't believe it when I heard that Schumer had said that. I shouldn't have been surprised, but I was.
That they earned since the beginning of the Chuck Schumer shutdown. As this continues, the chaos and consequences of the Schumer shutdown continue to build. Yet the men and women in law enforcement are asked to go out and serve and protect us every day. Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries will maintain a security detail, men and women that aren't being
Thanks,
paid
John.
because of Democrats' decision to shut down the federal government. I chair the Committee on House Administration, work closely with the men and women of the United States Capitol Police, and they're suffering the consequences of the Schumer shutdown today. It's particularly concerning in a period of time when political violence is on the rise. Senate Democrats have voted to shut down the federal government 7 times. That's 7 times to defund our police.
Okay, I'm gonna pop through because
if it's
Steve
getting better
Scalise is there as well.
police.
Let's jump forward here a little bit. This is Steve
Thank you, Chairman
Scalise.
Sal. And as the speaker pointed out, too, it's disgraceful that not only are we in this shutdown because Chuck Schumer is only concerned about appeasing the most radical elements of his base, but time and time again, 7 times now, you've had other Senate Democrats join in with him to keep the government closed. And they're feeling some pressure, but what they're trying to do now, both Democrats in the House and Senate, is trying to shift the blame away. While they're voting to shut the government down, they're trying to blame other people. Let's be clear, and the Speaker showed it. We've had actual votes on the House floor to keep the government open. We've had those same votes on the Senate floor.
Yep.
You can see who has been voting to pay our troops, who has been voting to pay our TSA agents, our Border Patrol agents, and who are those people that are voting to shut it down, to deny pay to our troops. It's crystal clear. And you can go see the voice votes, the record votes. Members of Congress, House and Senate, have actually cast votes over and over again on whether they want to keep it open or shut it down. You don't have to wonder about a blame game. Gee whiz, both sides are blaming the other side. Just go look at the votes. There have been
He's
actual
right.
votes
He's
in the
absolutely
House
spot
and the
on.
Senate, 8 different times now between the 2 chambers to open the government down. And Republicans have said, yes, let's keep the government open while we negotiate our differences. And Democrats continue to say no so they can appease their radical base. And so as Chuck Schumer denies pay to millions of federal workers, we know roughly at least 1 in 3 of every service member in America lives paycheck to paycheck. Now, should they get solace in knowing that they're risking their lives, some of them overseas, while their families are here, and on Monday, when we get to the date where paychecks would be cut, the government will still be shut down, and they won't even be getting a paycheck on the 15th. Rent will still be due, mortgages will still be due, car notes will still be due for those service members risking their life. Should they take solace in knowing that at least it's a good day for Chuck Schumer? At least Chuck Schumer feels like the shutdown's working good
I
for
love
Schumer.
Steve Scalise.
That's not going to give solace to any of those families. And instead, it actually increases the anger of the families all across America who are seeing the real cost of this shutdown. They know who's voting to shut the government down, but now they're feeling direct pain. And the only thing they hear from Democrat leaders that keep voting no is, oh, it's a good day for us because the far left is patting us on the back. Do they really need a participation trophy to feel good about themselves while they inflict pain on millions of people? It's disgraceful.
It
As the
is.
Speaker pointed out this morning, one of the other things that's being reported now is that one of the dates it looks like they're holding the government hostage over is the 18th of the month, where they're having this Hate America rally in Washington. And Democrats want to keep the government shut down to show all of those people that are going to come here and express their hatred towards this country that they're fighting President Trump, that they're keeping the government closed as if it's something to be proud of. They ought to be ashamed. If they had any shame, they would come back.
See, they don't.
Open up
That-
the government,
that's the issue.
and
They
then we
really
can
don't.
negotiate our differences, which are very, very large on a lot of these issues. But in the meantime, we all know who's doing this.
John is talking
Votes
about the
are crystal
end
clear. The public can
government
go see
shutdowns
who's voting
bill.
to keep the government open, who's voting to shut it down. Chuck Schumer
And
his
search on
Democrat
that, by the
colleagues who are
way,
doing this need to look themselves in the
the
mirror
end of
and
the
start
federal
working for the
government
American
shutdowns.
people.
All right, let's see who else is speaking here, and I'll jump ahead here, give you a little. Let's go back to I think Speaker Johnson then answered questions. So let's rejoin.
Military to say we should do something different here. We're still going to apply our pressure on the Senate, but if you're in the middle of a ball game and the strategy changes, you're behind, or somebody gets hurt or something like that, the coach calls in different play.
This guy from Fox. Oh,
Well, the ball game analogy doesn't fit here because we weren't playing a game. We sent over a clean CR, and I've explained this many times. If there was some Republican priority or poison pill or gimmick or trick or something that I could pull off the CR in order to negotiate with Democrats, I would have already done it. It's not there. When I say we're operating in good faith, I mean it. We sent over a totally clean measure that they had already voted for before. In fact, that Chuck Schumer gave impassioned speeches as recently as March of this year. The same instrument, the same one that he said was the right thing to do and that it must be done so Americans don't feel harm. He said that earlier this year. So we sent him the same instrument, hoping, of course, believing that they would do what has always been done here and pass a clean CR. And they didn't. So I don't have anything to negotiate. There's nothing more for me to do. I literally don't have a card that I can take off the deck because we did it all in good faith. They're the ones politicizing this. They're trying to play a game. We're not engaging in a
they
game.
want to add things now back into this. This is what Democrats want to do. They want to add that $1.4 trillion back in to the to the whole conversation over this. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to leave that there for right now. There's some other news stories that I also wanted to share with you this morning. So I'll touch on a few other things as we talk about the Nobel Peace Prize. Get a load of this. And this from the New York Post, and I'm using the print version because it's easier then to see. You don't get all of the photos and whatnot. But the head of the Nobel Peace Prize tried to justify not giving the award to President Trump this morning, suggesting that Trump wasn't worthy of it. What? So he was asked about the the clamor to give the prize to Trump. I never expected that they would. I never expected it. I talked about this on the air this morning. It's a construct of the left, and it's nonsense. So the deadline for nominations was January 31st, just days into Trump's second term in office, meaning all the nominations Trump earned this year for settling conflicts across the world would be considered then for next year. So I'm not holding my breath. Are you holding your breath that Trump will win the Nobel Prize next year? So he said, in the long history of the Peace Prize, I think this committee has seen many types of campaign, media attention. We receive thousands and thousands of letters every year of people wanting to say what for them leads to peace. This committee sits in a room filled with the portraits of all laureates, and that room is filled with both courage and integrity. So we base only our decision on the work and the will of Alfred Nobel, he said. So this is, again, they seem to be saying that Trump wasn't worthy of the award. which I think, we'll see next year. We'll see next. Okay. So they're out there saying that you expect the Nobel Peace Prize to change, and that we'll see Trump get the award next year. I bet it's somebody else. I bet it's somebody else. If it isn't, I'll eat crow, and I'll admit it that I was wrong. But I really believe we will see someone else get it. Also, let's go to the New York Post. Excuse me, I was looking at. I had another. Oh, here we go. The vice president. Wait a minute. There was another. There. Here we go. I wanted to get the reaction. Benjamin Netanyahu, and he's saying the Nobel Committee talks about peace. President Trump makes it happen. The facts speak for themselves. President Trump deserves it. So that's the Prime Minister of Israel saying the Nobel Committee just talks about it. Donald Trump makes it happen. That's a powerful statement from Benjamin Netanyahu. So I was getting caught up in some of these other comments. J.D. Vance sniping. Critics of Jared Kushner have been critical, and J.D. Vance shared this piece. Jared Kushner claims he can solve Israeli-Palestinian conflict because he's read 25 books on it. And so J.D. Vance says, what Jared never told anyone is that he also stayed at the Holiday Inn Express that night. I love the vice president's sense of humor. So the president getting ready for his semi-annual annual physical at Walter Reed today. That'll be taking place today. So among other stories that are breaking kind of news this morning, I don't think there was anything additional. There's just more insanity that's going on. I mean, everywhere you look, it's absolutely crazy. There is a professor joining a fight to disband Turning Point USA to ban a chapter on their public university campus. Where is this taking place? Fox News has got the story. A petition at change.org. Withhold your laughter. Boys and girls, don't laugh when we mention change.org. All manner of nonsense comes from change.org, accusing Turning Point USA of promoting hate speech and inciting violence. See, and that's, you're out there, you're inciting violence. Yeah, Charlie Kirk was. Rutgers University defending a professor who signed an online petition that seeks to disband the school's Turning Point USA chapter. What did the school say? Anyway, Fox News is following this, and they saw this. An associate professor of religion at Rutgers signing this petition. So I don't want to get too sideways with some of that stuff. You know, I understand, but the people are going to hold their personal opinions, but you have those folks in the classroom, if that's their opinion. I mean, how fired up would you be to, have your kids being at the college level now, having your kids, that person in charge of their instruction in any way? I mean, wow. It's just absolutely crazy. Trying to see some of your comments. Steve, I'm seeing some people saying the woman that won the Nobel Peace Prize has dedicated it to President Trump. She did mention him. Now, she's in hiding, but she's communicating with people somehow. She's been in hiding for the past year. But she mentioned Donald Trump in her, I heard that on Fox News Radio, I think, right near the end of my program this morning, that she had said something very complimentary to Donald Trump. So likely we'll be hearing more on that throughout the day. All right, my friend, I am going to leave it there for this morning. I want to thank you so much for being here. If you would not subscribe to the Greg Belfrage Show on YouTube, I'll ask you first, please do that. If you haven't already, I really appreciate all of the subscribers. Very slowly picking up, folks, but I'm glad you're among them. Thanks so much for being here. So that is a wrap from the bunker, and you made it to the end of the video. So my thanks to you. You are part of my gallery of champions. And a special salute to the Bunker Brigade. Those are the folks that are here each and every day. You've seen me flashing some of their comments over the course of the show this morning. So thank you so much. I want to wish you a really terrific weekend, and hope to see you again on Monday. Until then, I'm Underground and Gold.